We love business and we love sports. So there's no better thing to do in life than be in the business of sports.
This is my purpose, and this is what I've been waiting for.
On the debut episode of the Epicenter of Women's Sports podcast with Corinne LeBlanc, we sit down with a brother and sister who are changing everything for women's sports in Portland and the world. It became personal to you pretty quickly.
It's about checking your ego at the door.
Lisa Bhathal Merage and Alex Bhathal, owners of the NWSL's Portland Thorns and the WNBA's Portland Fire. A $150 million practice facility here in Portland, first of its kind, dual-purposed, made for women.
Aside from the aspect that this is the right thing to do, it's also the right thing to do for the team.
Yeah, we questioned a lot, like the idea of a locker room. A locker room was really invented for men.
We go inside the biggest decisions they made to set a new standard in the business of women's sports.
The spark has been ignited, and we want to contribute to that.
We both feel that Portland punches way above its weight with regard to the passion for sports.
When you think of your overall legacy in life, where does this fit for each of you?
Both Lisa and I view ourselves as a product of the American dream.
Let's dive right into it. Let's talk about a defining moment in your life that led you to who you are today. The easy question to start it off. Lisa?
Defining moment. Alex and I were having this conversation coming in because we're like, do we live in moments? I don't know if we live in moments. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with defining moment was when I was born, because my mom told my dad to go to work and she was fine and I wasn't going to be coming. And then she realized she was in labor. And so she called my grandma and put me in my grandma's green Ford Mustang, and we drove to the hospital, and my mom didn't make it in. So she had me in the front seat of my grandma's green Ford Mustang in the emergency zone in front of the hospital. And at that time, I wasn't allowed in the nursery with the other babies because I was considered having an unsterile birth. So, you know, we've always said, I guess I was different from the beginning.
Different from the beginning.
Yes.
Love it.
And she was almost named Sally, Mustang Sally.
Ha ha. Very funny. My dad likes to joke about that.
It's Alex's joke now.
Yeah, it is.
Alex, go ahead. Were you different from the beginning?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Lisa would probably say that because I used to read like encyclopedias for
Yeah,
fun.
we'd find him, like, we couldn't find him. We'd be like, where's Alex? Where's Alex? And he'd be like in the office with the encyclopedia open to any random given page reading.
I like useless trivia.
He knows so much useless trivia.
But moments, I was trying, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about like personal, business, family. And I think on the family side, you know, I think we come from a family that values family. And I think back to getting married 17 years ago, meeting my wife, and then the birth of our son. He's almost 10. So I think I have to start with that because that's the foundation of life. So that's been my moments on the family side. On the business side, I think there's probably two moments that I think back and reflect on as being inflection points. One was after business school, I joined my sister in our family business, and we were fortunate to be able to grow the company and take it global, take it digital, acquire and license a variety of brands. And then we sold the company to private equity. So that was a milestone achievement for us and our family, and definitely something that I look back on that has been really, really, really good for us and a milestone in life. And then several years after that, then our family joined the group that acquired the Sacramento Kings. And that was a momentous occasion. It was a fulfillment of a lifelong dream of our parents, of our family, and started our journey in the business of sports. And that's been the most rewarding professional path that I could ever have thought of being a part of, and that continues here in Portland with the WNBA and the Portland Thorns. So it's been a great journey and a lot of fun.
And it actually loops them together because our sports endeavors are so family centric. I mean, you know, you see us come up as a family whether it's Alex and his wife and son, or our parents, or my husband and my kids. Like it's the glue that holds our family together, and we are as much entrenched as businesses and as in family, and they're really intertwined for us.
Yeah, and those are the conversations we have as a family, talking about the business of sports, talking about the teams, talking about the games, and it's just a phenomenal experience that we're really privileged to be a part
Now,
of.
you guys like to go for walks, right? And talk about the sports and the families. And because I hear you guys like to do morning walks together. Is that right?
No, we don't do them together. But I did see Alex at the gym this morning at the hotel. He was running, I was walking. He does triathlons, I walk. I don't know.
So tell me about growing up. Let's go back into your childhood. Let's think of a memory or a trip where you saw something in the other person. Because I know there was a story, Alex, you were left behind once as a family.
That is
Lisa
true.
doesn't.
I do not recall this at all.
Tell the story, Alex.
Oh, we were on a family vacation in Europe, which was a really cool thing, and it was very formulative for us as kids to be able to go to Europe, and somehow we wound up on this ski slope in the Alps somewhere, and we weren't big skiers,
Austria, maybe?
yeah, I think we were in Austria, and our parents were with their friends, and they wound up in like the fancy hut where they like have drinks instead of go down the slopes. And somehow I was on the mountain left alone.
Literally do not remember this at all. I have no recollection.
Because you weren't forgotten.
I don't know. Maybe I was in the hut with the parents and friends.
I don't know. I was like, somebody turned me into the lost and found.
Oh my.
And then they eventually found our parents with their friends, and I was turned back in. But for those, I don't know how long it was. It felt like it was a lifetime, but it was probably like 10 minutes.
Obviously, it was trauma.
Young version of Lisa, what was she like?
Lisa? She always loved the fashion business, the swimwear company that we had as a family company.
I was very shy.
Oh, me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember we used to get in fights, and then I would chase her around the house, and then she would hide in the bathroom. That's what I remember.
I don't like conflict.
So, young story about Alex.
Oh gosh. Well, Alex was possibly one of the world's biggest Star Wars fans.
Now we know.
Yeah, and I remember I think it was like on Christmas Day that The Empire Strikes Back came out.
I was like 2 or something.
No. You were like maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. And he was on the edge of his seat the whole time we were watching, and I look over at him, and it was right when Han Solo was frozen.
Okay.
And he had these tears coming down his cheeks. He was so heartbroken that Han Solo was frozen. But Alex had like a Star Wars themed room. He had this like mural that said, "May the Force be with you, Alex," on it.
That's pretty cool.
It had the Death Star. Yeah.
Do you still have that in your office?
No.
No, it's so last part about how we got here today. Okay. Did your parents fire you guys to go and grow? You got fired by your parents, Alex.
I got fired when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I was brought into work, and I was assigned the task of like filing checks. The old school way, you had to alphabetize the checks and do some boring
You had to
office
pick
work.
weeds too.
And then I went out into the lawn and I had to pick the weeds. But I found it a lot more fun to go in my dad's office, and he had a big fancy chair, and I would just spin around in the chair. And so I got spoken to. That
You got
it's-
fired.
Yeah, I got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always the worker. I was the one
Oh.
always like working from an early age.
All right, let's dive into Portland. We are here at the global epicenter of women's sports, and what you all have done coming into the city to really cement this as the global epicenter of women's sports with purchasing the Portland Thorns, a club that changed the trajectory of women's soccer, the WNBA team. Like, why Portland? Why now? And from an investment lens, why do this?
Well, Portland has number one, the world's best fans.
Woo!
We will say that. I think for us that was kind of a tipping point. I mean, Alex can tell the story too, but I think being in the sports business, we see a lot of opportunities that come across our desk. And we started hearing about, I think at the time they were calling it a moment in women's sports. And we were like, it's not a moment. It's about the rise of women's sports. We've been hearing more and more about it. So we looked into the Portland Thorns, and I came up for a game with my husband and my son, and that was when we met for the first time. And saw firsthand the magic that happens in Providence Park. And, you know, you can go to other parts of the country and people are trying to manufacture supporter sections, but nothing is like what we have with the Riveters at Providence Park and with our fan base that is here in Portland. And it's truly magical. I think we both feel that Portland punches way above its weight with regard to the passion for sports. And you know, as you know, Karina, you know, playing for the Thorns, women's sports, maybe it was the counterculture that happened in Portland. I don't know because we weren't here, but there's such a voracious fan base. And and the Thorns being the most winning team in the NWSL, it was, it was something that we thought was really a great investment.
I remember talking to you that day because we met. And I was talking to you about the city, and Lisa, your eyes welled up. And I think this is why it's so important for our listeners to hear. Like, it became personal to you pretty quickly because you heard about the passion of the city. You heard about the love for the club, and you started to say, let's be stewards to the city.
Yes.
So you right away connected to it.
Yeah, I think we're very intentional in saying we are stewards of a beloved community asset. We don't like to say owners, or if anything, we'll say investors.
Yeah.
But I think even for me personally, it was a moment, going back to moments, a moment where I realized this is my purpose and this is what I've been waiting for. And we go through life where we have different learnings, different career paths. For me, I was deciding in college if I wanted to go into the business of sports or the business of fashion. Chose fashion because sports was a different thing back then. It was definitely a very male-dominated world. And like Alex said, we sold our business to private equity and started a new business. And I work in social impact. I do a lot of charity work, board service, community involvement. And this was kind of the culmination of everything, working in women's consumer products with social impact, making a difference for women for generations to come.
Love it. Alex, the encyclopedia man. Investment, like one of the things I love being in meetings with you is that I feel like I just learn every single time I'm in conversation with you, whether it's from your past business adventures or you being in different boards. From an investment standpoint, why was this a good move?
Well, I think fundamentally the business of sports is an attractive asset class, and it has been. People are now waking up to that. The trajectory based on the value of the media rights has been something that has really driven valuation in top American sports leagues and really around the world. So we had an appetite for more sports investing, like Lisa mentioned. We've been looking at soccer opportunities for a number of years and looked at some teams in Europe, looked at some MLS opportunities, and never really found one that we felt was right to pull the trigger on. And as we were in that pursuit and in that conversation around soccer, then we also concurrently started getting signals about what was happening with the movement around women's sports and the growth of the WNBA, the emerging growth of the NWSL, and just the broader women's sports category. And having the opportunity to come here to Portland, which is a city that we've long loved and spent time in and knew about the passionate fan base, not just for the Thorns, but also for the Blazers and the Timbers, we immediately saw that this is a great opportunity for us from a business standpoint, as well as being able to drive economic and social impact in the community. So
which is very important.
It came together really quick in terms of we look at a lot of different things and we spend time on things, but from the moment that we started our investigation of the Portland Thorns until the time when we put the anchor down and said, hey, we want to do this, it was pretty quick. And it was Lisa's feedback. It was our analysis of the broader opportunity. And I will say our parents were supportive of this, and they didn't have to be. And I think Lisa has a good story about, when she came back from that initial trip, when you met the first time, and she was so excited to show on her iPhone this video because it was a game versus Seattle, Thorns versus the Reign, and it was a packed house, and it was right after goals. The smoke bombs are going off, and it's just this incredible atmosphere, which well, you played in, and she was showing that to my dad, and he was born a long time ago in India, and in a very, very different culture, and came here in 1960 for university studies, and he's very modern and progressive and very American.
Only one out of 8 brothers and sisters to not have an arranged marriage. Met our mom, fell in love.
Yeah, and she was an athlete growing up. She played at UCLA golf, but he was seeing these videos, and this kind of old school guy was looking at this, saying, "Yeah, I really believe in women's sports. Like, this is a thing. We should pursue this." So I think that was a moment, back to your point, on when the whole family coalesced and said, "This is a great opportunity for us, and we're doing everything that we can to be good community stewards of this precious asset, and win as many championships and create as many opportunities for people as possible."
And build a world-class organization. We've said, our goal is to be globally #1, and that's from every aspect of the business.
On and off the pitch.
On and off the pitch.
I don't think everyone at home knows and understands this family unit that you talk about, because your parents, they come to the games. Your mom's like team mom, like, we win, but she says it in the way where, like, we have to win for her. You want to talk a bit about your parents, because it's such an inspiring story. It's like the American dream, where your dad came here, like you said, one of 7 kids not to do an arranged marriage, came here, fell in love with this California woman, and they started this company. How has that kind of influenced who you are in leaders as humans, but most importantly, like, trying to set that new standard of women's sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, as you said, our parents were also kind of different when we were growing up, but we didn't realize that. To us, everything was normal. I mean, they were not allowed to get married in the Catholic Church. Our mom was Catholic because our dad was Sikh, and so they got married in a chapel. Yeah, and they did things differently, but always just kind of forged their own path. And our mom was an athlete. Then she played, I don't know, 7 or 8 different sports, and played golf, as Alex said, at UCLA. And her first job was actually as physical education supervisor for the school district of Compton. So she was doing that. They started their swimwear business, and really, I think a big part of what we have in common is the work ethic. So our parents have always been really hard workers. We've had a saying that we use even when interviewing people, which is, it's about checking your ego at the door. It's not about us. It's about what's right for the business and the company. And so we had great parents as examples of how to be and how to show up. They always believed in working hard, giving back, doing things with humility, and winning, wanting to win, wanting excellence, and being forward thinking, and having a lot of fun while we're doing it all. So I don't know, that's kind of about our family.
Yeah. And I think both Lisa and I view ourselves as a product of the American dream. And from that comes an appreciation and a gratitude, and not taking things for granted. So those are some of the values that were instilled in us. And at least for me, like, one of the things that I've always viewed as important is the ability to fulfill your potential, whatever it is. We're all different, and that's what's beautiful about the human race, is we come in all different, in every way that you can think about diversity. Human race has that. 100%. And everyone has their own potential. Some could be for arts or sports or education or just being a good person. But if you strive to fulfill your potential in whatever way you are gifted, naturally gifted, then that's an honorable trait. So we're fortunate to be able to grow up in a family that's been in business, and those are some of the skills that we've learned. And so we want to keep going and fulfill our potential in the business community, in the world of sports, and in our roles in the community.
It's so interesting you say that because my greatest fear is not to live my calling. And it's why I think I connect so well with you two in like actually making our lives matter. So talking about matter, $150 million practice facility here in Portland, first of its kind, dual purposed, made for women, right, Lisa?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. I remember like we were talking with Populous and you said, okay, this is fantastic. Now build it for women, which is incredible because no building we've ever walked into has ever been designed for women. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, it's very exciting, and our goal is to be open for next season. But it will be the first professional dual sports women's performance center in the world. As you know, just outside of Portland on 12 acres with 2 full-size soccer pitches and 2 full-size basketball courts. And while we will have separation for the teams, there'll be our Thorns entrance and our W entrance. There will be 2 areas that are shared between our players, and those were very intentional. So one of them is called our Elite Training Core, and that is our, I think it's like over 4,000 square feet gym that has an indoor-outdoor space, and then also our medical training and recovery areas, which can be divided or separated. Each team will have their different, hot and cold plunge and their different recovery areas. But the idea with that area is that I think we're calling it collective alchemy. It's this idea that we will have cross-pollination of ideas when it comes to sports science and recovery and training, because there's so little research done on female athletes. And, we have almost our own innovation lab here where we can look at both soccer players and basketball players. And are there learnings that a basketball player or a trainer on the basketball side can learn from soccer or vice versa. So that's exciting. And then there's the other side, the other shared area, which is the dining room. And I know, Karina, you've talked about this. Like you said, it's like being in an Olympic village, right?
Yep. You walk into the village, and I always talk about like being at the Olympics and having Serena and Venus on my right-hand side, my teammates on my left. Walking over, you start that conversation at a level that's so high. And I think that's what's exciting about this practice facility is that the athletes are going to be able to get those 1% better from just conversations while eating and breaking bread. And the same with our medical staff or performance staff. So that little area of eating is going to be gold.
Right. And so we have these 2 areas, and then you asked about kind of these special ideas for women. And yeah, we questioned a lot, like the idea of a locker room. A locker room was really invented for men, and it's this open space where everybody changes, or, in the showers, everybody showers. And we were like, well, do women want that? I don't know. And so, we've implemented certain areas, like we have private changing areas if somebody wants to have privacy. We have areas that are more, we'll call them spa-like showers. So you can have your individual shower stall and then step out to a little changing area to be able to put on, your towel or your clothes or whatever you want before you step out of the bathroom. So just little things about how we as women operate a little bit differently than men. And then the locker room, we don't call it the locker room. It's the dressing room. It's where you get dressed to be a professional and to do your job. And it's just kind of a mindset shift.
Alex, your role in this. We talked about the fact that this building will be special for women who've never been able to play. For players like me, it's better than a dream come true. Like my daughter, she grows up thinking this is normal. The role that you as a man play in this, in helping this building feel acceptable to men, and even the investment part of that. Do you want to tap into that?
Yeah, I think aside from the aspect that this is the right thing to do, it's also the right thing to do for the teams. Because if we look at over time, what are the most valuable sports franchises? What are the franchises that win the most, have the best traditions, one of the common factors is facilities, having access to the world's best quality facilities. And if we really want to build the top women's soccer team in the world and have
And basketball.
and have a championship caliber basketball team as an expansion, then we need to have the facilities to support the athletes. And it doesn't come without investment and forward-thinking mindset. We're very fortunate to have a great team working on this project. Lisa's input, some of the players' input.
Sophia Wilson and Morgan Weaver both helped select tile and paint colors.
But that's important to have it through the proper lens of the female athlete first. And that is unique. And to be able to do it for two teams, it's something that we hope will set us apart and set the standard for other teams to follow. And that's okay, because setting a standard means you're ahead of the curve. And in having that world-class facility is something that we think is going to be really important for the future. And I will say, having Providence Park as our home pitch, there is nothing like that. Providence Park is not a brand new state-of-the-art stadium, although there's a very significant investment that's been put into it to modernize it recently. But it's like a Fenway Park type feel or Wrigley Field, where there's so much history and so much uniqueness that, and to have, to Lisa's point, the supporters and the Thorns fans fill the house on a weekly basis. It really has set the global standard for not just women's soccer, but women's sports.
World's best fans.
It's the world's best fans, and it's the facilities, it's the fans, it's the talent that is attracted to that. Those elements set the foundation for cementing Portland as the global epicenter for women's sports.
Bing, let's say that again, global epicenter, because you're so right. We have the brands the athletes wear. We have the facilities, we have the infrastructure, we have the fan base, we have the players, we have the events coming up. There's a lot going on in Portland. You talk about 1 + 1 = 5. Let's dive into that.
Oh, that's very easy. We talk about, we have the Thorns and the W, and it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's exponential. So it's exponential when it comes to everything with our performance center, with player care, how we level up, taking care of the female athletes, and what we're doing with research and sports science, making some huge inroads with sports science, and again with our partners, 1 + 1 = 5. Come on board.
Love it. Now, when you think of your overall legacy in life, where does this fit for each of you?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm old enough yet to think about legacy. But I think it's kind of what I said at the beginning. Being involved with both of these sports, having a seat at the table at the Board of Governors to affect change. I mean, we are making a difference that will have a ripple effect, I hope. And that's a way to, again, give back and help affect change.
Love it.
Yeah, I just go back to everything that we do as a partnership, as a family, is driven in driving economic and social impact. And sport, there's really no better way to supercharge that power than through sports, and really being able to extend it through the power of women's sports now. And that's really exciting for us to be a part of it. And I don't really think of legacy, like to Lisa's point, we're just trying to take things day by day, have a long-term plan, and execute it. Because right now we're in execution mode. We've set the table, and now we have to get it done.
What surprised you in this journey so far?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many things that on a daily basis, it's fun and it's challenging, and there's a fire to put out or whatever it is. But I think the difference with just in working with female athletes, it's different than with male athletes. There's different issues that come up, player care is different. And, I think that goes back to the facilities where player care is first and foremost. And we want to make sure that we can attract and retain the best talent possible, both on and off the pitch. And that goes back to the facilities, not only with our performance center, but actually at Providence Park, we didn't mention, we remodeled the dressing room there. So the Thorns have a brand new dressing room that is beautiful. The bathrooms are coming this summer. We had to do 2 parts because it's a very old building.
Old is good because there's so much history behind it, right?
Yes.
How about you? What surprised you so far?
Oh, every day is a surprise. I haven't gone through my emails yet, but I'm sure there's a couple of zingers in there. But that's what's fun about the business is at the end of the day, this is a fun business to be a part of. So even though there's all sorts of craziness and wild stuff that happens and egos and this and that, what I like to say is we love business and we love sports. So there's no better thing to do in life than be in the business of sports.
Yeah. And as Jeff, our GM, says, we get to do this.
We get to do this.
Yeah, we're so lucky we get to do this.
What are you learning at this point in life?
What am I learning in life? I don't know.
I'm going to come
That
back.
was not on your question.
It
though.
was.
It
is
was?
every episode. I know, Alex.
Is it the very end?
Yes, it was. Fun fact.
Oh my gosh.
Fast
I'm like,
readers.
no, I know. I'm like, where do I start with that? What am I
So
learning?
it's going to be what you're
every day?
learning and what are you unlearning.
Okay, do you want to go first? I have to think about it.
This is very.
I know,
much
I
a
didn't prep
KK
for that one.
question.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to prep. This is the best part, Lisa.
What I'm learning is how to be a good mentor to my son. And that's always every day as he grows, he's a little bit different than he was yesterday. And I'm just trying to stay on top of that and be a good guardian, a good mentor, a good coach, and someday a consultant as he goes through his journey.
Love it. And what are you unlearning?
What am I unlearning? I'm unlearning. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
I know, these are hard questions. I don't know.
Well, did you want easy questions,
Yeah.
Lisa?
Because I learn something every day.
There you go. What are you learning, Lisa?
What am I learning? I learn something new every day. And I guess, you know what I'm learning?
Yeah.
I'm learning so much about soccer.
There you go.
I did not know there was so much to know about soccer, especially with your husband, Jason. He gives me insights as to what is happening with this play or that play, because I don't claim to be an expert at all. I don't think either of us do. We very much believe in hiring the right people for the job and letting them do their job and not micromanaging.
I love watching a game with you guys because you guys get nervous at different times. And it's like hilarious to watch you guys get nervous as it's happening. Mind you, Alex, you wear the same shirt every game because it's been successful. Let's
that
be honest.
red shirt.
This
It's
is
the
what
red
people do in sports,
It's
right?
the same outfit. We haven't lost 9 games at home, so you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it the first home game. Hopefully the rest of the season.
All right. What are you unlearning? Like, what's new that you've gone through life in this journey and thought, you know what? At this point, I can do this differently.
I think for me, it's managing time and not being beholden to what's coming at me and not being reactive and trying to be proactive, even if that comes at the expense of the crisis of the moment. So being more thoughtful and proactive in how I schedule my time and how I prioritize things in life.
And when you're in the middle of it, so this is learning lessons for people listening. When you're in the middle of it, how do you do that? Because a lot of times when chaos is going on, you get lost in the chaos. How do you step back?
For me personally, it's I have to get a workout in every morning.
Okay.
I run a lot, and people do different things, whether it's meditation or yoga or stretching or some form of exercise, running, swimming, whatever. And having that is a mental reset in some form or fashion, and that works for me. If I don't get in my morning workout, then I'm cluttered in my head.
Yep, that's because you beat me when we were at Nike. And for the record, I thought I would do a race up the LeBron James building. And we were supposed to race about 10 yards, Alex. And Alex beat me. So I am no longer an athlete because you are. All right, over to you, Lisa. What are you unlearning?
Well, I think for me, I went through a decent amount of years in my career, basically being in fight or flight. And I didn't really realize that until we sold our prior business, and I stopped and I realized I was in fight or flight for too many years to say, because I will date myself if I say them out loud. So I think for me, I'm learning to still be effective, but in a peaceful manner. And so some of that, as Alex was talking about, self-care. I have my different things that I do. I have my walks in the morning, looking at the trees, not necessarily trying to accomplish anything during that time. I have my mantras, as we've talked about. I have affirmations that I say every morning and every night. I do meditation, I do yoga, but just maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I actually, within the past year, stopped drinking alcohol. And I just thought it was a health choice, not for anything, not for any real reason, but I just felt no alcohol, no caffeine, and I'm just trying to live a healthier life.
One of the things you both do really well is you both are the hype person for other people. And I think it's so refreshing to work for people who see you and who make you feel like you belong. And I think that's what you've done here in Portland, is you've made the city feel like you see them and that they belong in this world in their own special way, which is what we love about you all. All right, so let's get to fun questions.
Those weren't fun.
Well, these are fun. All right. This is going to be rapid fire.
Oh boy, I don't have to go through this page.
No, you didn't. I just put this in. All right.
Okay.
Ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
Both.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm a total rule follower, but sometimes you just have to ask for forgiveness.
Alex?
Probably beg for forgiveness.
What book are you reading right now?
Oh gosh, I have so many next to my bed that I'm working on. I read like probably 4 or 5 books at the same time, but like I've literally have everything from Soccernomics. That's one. Yeah, because I've actually been slowly getting through that one because it's very long.
And you're a fast reader.
And I'm a fast reader. Yeah, to Crucial Conversations, to whatever my favorite fiction book is at the time. I love to read. So
Alex, encyclopedias?
So I love history. And so right now I'm reading a biography of Woodrow Wilson, which is written by Chris Cox, who's
board member of our company.
on our investment company.
Yep.
Love it. Favorite podcast?
Well, you recently introduced me to Mel Robbins, which I thought was great. But I'm actually going to say, like, the epicenter was freaking LeBron.
Good, Alex. You have one answer.
Epicenter of women's sports,
Favorite holiday?
July 4th.
Ooh.
Because that's your anniversary.
It's the 5th.
Oh. It's the after. I'm usually gone for his anniversary. That's why.
Well, you get fireworks in summer. I mean, that's the best.
Yeah.
America.
Favorite holiday? I don't know. I'm going to go with Valentine's Day.
Aw, look at you, lovebird. Is there any tradition you guys do around the holidays as a family? Or you did growing up?
Let's see, then having Yuletide log on Christmas. Our mom does not cook. I don't cook. Our grandmother cooked, and she was an amazing chef, and she would always say, "Get out of my kitchen." So it's not our skill set. So you have to usually figure out those holidays. I don't know what other traditions we have.
Trade houses.
We trade houses.
Yeah. Favorite childhood TV show?
Happy Days.
Oh,
Yeah, good question.
you didn't watch
ESPN
TV? Oh, okay, ESPN.
Oh,
You're reading
that's
the
a good one.
or
encyclopedia.
Sports Center.
Yeah, you were most importantly reading. What's the why that keeps you going?
For me, it's I guess it's just purpose. Like, how can I affect change in this world? I said to my husband not that long ago, if I said, I sometimes just want to make more money so I can give more money to charity. Is that wrong? So
I like that answer.
Driving economic and social impact.
Of course. Last concert you went to?
I think it was Bottle Rock in Napa.
Okay.
Yeah. The adult Coachella.
Okay. I was like, I'll just Google that quickly.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh gosh. I have to think.
Doing really good at concerts.
Not that much. I could tell you a really cool one.
Okay.
So when we opened the Golden One Center in Sacramento back in 2016, then Paul McCartney came and opened the arena.
Okay.
That was the most memorable concert.
Oh, wow. What was your first
And I love
concert?
the Beatles too. That was
He loves the Beatles. Actually, our investment platform is called Revitate, and part of that is like talking about a revolution, the Beatles song. Like, it all relates.
Look at him. He's like, yes. Who snores?
We don't
I don't know,
have
we-
justice together.
Yeah, we talk to our spouses.
Growing up, who was most likely to get in trouble?
Oh, I don't know if either of us. We were like actually ridiculously good kids. I was somehow grounded all during high school, and I look back and I'm like, I literally did nothing. But we both were good kids. Although there was a time when we found like beer cans in your
Yeah, that was
closet or
Gordy
something.
Clement's fault.
Yeah. Okay.
Get that on the broadcast.
Who's the better dancer of the two of you?
I'm gonna say me because Alex doesn't dance.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
You don't? I haven't seen him dance forever.
When we win,
But
a
my husband
championship,
liked to dance.
you're gonna dance.
Oh yeah, for sure. On tables. With
We
champagne.
win the championship?
I may drink that night.
Done.
Why can't we tickle ourselves?
Is that a thing?
Did you really put that question?
Yes, it is. It is a thing. If you think about it, you can't.
I bet Alex knows the answer to that because it's the encyclopedia.
I don't know. That's what we have at ChatGPT. We'll figure it out later.
Would you rather come face to face with a miniature hippopotamus or a giant cockroach?
Did Paris write these questions?
I'm going hippopotamus because I do not like insects.
Yeah, hippo.
These are questions we're asking everybody, and then we're going to reel it all together. What's one decision you made together that you'll never forget?
Investing in first the Portland Thorns and then the Portland WNBA.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Here you go. Favorite teammate in business, sports, or life? Oh, there we go. What kind of leadership culture you're trying to make sure is set with you two leading the way?
Well, I think for us, we don't live here in Portland. We live down in Newport Beach, California. And I think whether it comes to you, Karina, or Alexis, I think, or Mike Whitehead, anyone in our organization really represents our family values. And I kind of talked about them earlier with regard to, excellence, wanting to win, having fun, being forward thinking, having humility. And I really have to say, when we're in town and get to spend time with the team players, team on and off the pitch, everybody really represents those values. And on the Thorn side, we've hired, I think, 36 people within the past year. And it's amazing. You see these very kind, hardworking people. And we really think it's important to hire as many people as we can from the Portland area to support the community, to create jobs for people. But the culture that has been created so far, we're so excited for the organization. I can't say we're proud because it's not our doing. Even Elise, who's our VP of People and Culture, has done an amazing job, but it is exactly how we'd want it to be.
And I think that's a testament to how exciting this opportunity is to be able to have the right hand and the left hand together, having the women's soccer team with the Thorns and the new expansion WNBA team. And it's something very, very unique. It's something very, very special in a very, very special community that needs this.
Yeah.
needs this for a lot of reasons, and it can be part of the positive change that's already happening here. The spark has been ignited, and we want to contribute to that. And the people who have joined the team and the leaders who are executing the strategic objectives of our organizations are fully aligned with that vision. And this is bigger than sports. It's bigger than women's sports. This is about a renaissance of Portland. And on a global stage, it's about seizing the moment and providing the opportunities to women in the sports and in the business side.
I think what you said there is so perfect, because it really does come down to the fact of we get to do this. And anybody working in women's sports kind of understands that it's almost like a startup company where you've got to do the extra. You've got to go that extra mile. And I think the culture that you continue to set is, you keep saying that we get to do this because it's the honor. And to do it in a city like Portland, where every fan will appreciate it. Every sponsor understands why they're partnering with us, because this is something new, but people who've been in it are really driven by how you guys are leading, because it's setting a whole new standard. It's not just doing one team, it's doing both, but then it's a facility. Then it's getting people, partners involved who literally are looking at women's sports differently, the ROI, right?
Right.
Do you want to talk a bit about how the ROI, Alex, is like the return investment in sports is not just the financials, but it's the value driven. It's all those things all encompassed. Do you want to dig into that a bit?
Yeah, and I think on your point earlier about how this is a startup in a way, where women's sports we're creating organizations around women's sports. And what's different than a startup is, in a startup, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could go wrong that are in your control or out of your control. In this specific opportunity with WNBA and NWSL, we know the demand is there. It's been underinvested in through time. We know that women's sports have the potential to be just as valuable in the long term as men's sports. There's no reason why they couldn't be. And if you just look at the success that this country has had in women's sports at the Olympics, where I think it was 65% of the medals were won by women athletes, and what's been happening over a generation at the collegiate level, where women's sports continues to grow and flourish. And now the moment to take the early investments in women's professional sports and take them to the next level. It's really an execution game at this point, because the demand is there. The fans will support it. The corporate partners are seeing the returns. The viewership is going through the roof. And now we just have to build the organization that can execute on the opportunity. So what that means for numbers, it really doesn't matter for us. It matters about doing it the right way and producing a winning organization on and off the pitch. And the financial results will come, and they will come for everybody. Every stakeholder that's involved in this asset class of women's sports will benefit.
I love it, because I've been in it a long time, and I think so many former athletes have been waiting for people to see what you've just said. Lisa, you're a woman, and you've said to me before, you're inspired by these athletes, these female athletes. Most people look at you and they're like, oh my God, you're inspiring so many women. How are you inspired by the women and these athletes and the people who are getting involved in women's sports right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, if we start with the players themselves, can we just say there's no flopping with these women? They are so tough. I am just in awe. I mean, and look at, like, for instance, Bella Bixby, our goalkeeper, who had a baby less than a year ago. I mean, it's insane. She is looking so fit. She is so strong. Just even the mental toughness that these athletes have is just, it's inspirational for me.
It's amazing, because I think the stat is 93% of women or 94% of women who play sports end up in C-class suites and above. You played sport too?
I did. Although my mom was really the athlete. I was a little bit more of an academic. I know I was
You were well-rounded.
I was well-rounded. You were too. We played a lot of different sports. Yeah. No, I was more let's see, if you have to look back to like being a youngster and in high school, there was a club on campus when I went to high school called the Key Club, and it was a men's charity organization. It was the largest club on campus and had existed since the 1960s at my high school, and only men were allowed. And they let women in. And so I became the first vice president. And then the next year, I was the first female president of this club and kind of broke that barrier. So
You've been breaking barriers, and then now you talk about like Portland. You go to a park. I went to a park with Paris the other day. There's 5 young boys, and I had to catch myself because I was looking for their sister, because they have our women's jerseys on the backs. Now we're creating not only a future of what's possible in sports, but in the city, we're creating a generation that doesn't know man or woman as a leader. We're creating a city where leaders are whoever you can look up to. Think of the younger version of yourself, Alex. Imagine if you had this to look up to. How would that have changed you? And does that impact how you want to lead today?
Well, I just look at my son, and he watches WNBA games, he watches NWSL games, and he's a huge basketball
he knows the
fan.
stats for every female player the same way he knows with the male players.
Yeah, no, I mean, he loves all sports, but soccer and basketball, he'll just consume it like crazy, and gender doesn't matter. It's these are our teams, these are the teams that we root for, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah. It's actually super exciting. And it's interesting, you know, as we go back to, I think we were having the conversation about ROI. And as we think about sponsors, you know, with the Thorns, we have Ring as our front of kit sponsor. And Liz Hamron, the CEO of Ring, was truly a visionary. I mean, she's seriously one of the most brilliant people I know. But for these sponsors to see the opportunity and get in at a lower level, we have Gen Z. We have, you know, as women control 85% of the consumer buying decisions of the household. And, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day about within the next 5 years, there will be a multi-trillion-dollar generational shift of wealth to women and this is the first time in our history. And it's coming through many different facets, but our audience is where it is. I mean, these are the people that make the buying decisions. And, you know, marketers are always trying to figure out, how can I reach Gen Z? How can I reach, you know, it used to be the millennials. Now it's how can I reach Gen Z? And it is this like beautiful pool of people that we have, and they're captive in this audience. So the smart companies that truly want to authentically spread the message of their brands, those are the ones that are the early adopters in women's sports, and they are the forward-thinking ones, and they're the ones that are really going to see the ROI.
Woo! All right, let's end with a call to action. All right, so we have our listeners at home who are watching this, listening. What is your call to action to each of them?
Okay, so my call to action, I will take a step back to explain. And the bottom line is, tune in and watch women's sports. And the reason why I'm saying this is, let me explain. The way it works in sports is the media contracts control the salary caps. So in men's sports, there are many men that watch, there are many people who watch men's sports, and that turns into a high media contract, and that's where the salary cap comes from. So the more people that can just turn on their TVs and watch women's sports, even keep it on in the background, all of those eyeballs directly relate to raising salaries for female athletes.
Tune into women's sports. All right. That's Lisa's call to action. Alex?
All right, mine's more local. We are launching the WNBA expansion team in May of next year, and we want to pack the house. We want to show what Portland can do on a global stage by packing the Moda Center. And the way to do that is to sign up. We have our season ticket deposits available, WNBA/Portland, and sign up, come to the games, be part of our journey.
Pack the house. Houses. Because we
Yes.
pack the Thorns house.
The houses.
And we got to pack the WNBA Portland too.
And if you're not in Portland, come to Portland,
Yep.
the global epicenter of women's sports. We have beautiful hotels here. I was this weekend in the Rose Garden and the Japanese Tea Garden. They're amazing. And Portland should be a travel destination. Come in for the weekend and see what we have going on here.
Great food.
Great food,
Foodie paradise.
great people.
Yep.
Great trees to walk around in with Forest Park. You know what? Portland is where it's at. Well, thank you for your time today.
Great. Thank you,
Thank
Karina.
you, Karina.
Woo! Can we get a big whoa?
Woo.
Well, that was fun. I would highly recommend doing a podcast with your bosses next week. My learnings, hopefully you all walk away understanding that this brother and sister are the types of people that you want to work for because they make you feel like you belong. They make you feel seen. And they're happening to do that with Portland. I think it was a fantastic conversation to actually see them laugh together, which is something I get to see, but you don't obviously on a daily. But most importantly, understand why they came to Portland and how this is truly personal for them. This is not just a business venture. This is about coming to a city, which they said they'd come to growing up. They had a connection to the city, but most importantly, they felt the power of the people in the city. And I think that's one of the things why I want to run through a wall for them, because they get it. They get that women's sports is not just a moment. It's a movement, and it's time to lead into it. So as they ended with their call to action, I hope everybody walks away from this conversation feeling empowered by what's possible, feeling that it's up to you. Tune in, turn on your televisions, watch the streamings, come to the games that sell out every game. And most importantly, let's make sure everybody knows just what we're doing here in Portland, the global epicenter of women's sports. Woo!